Hey folks, this is Lucid, and time for our game with Man. This is, well, shit, got the wrong turn. Well, I'm only on turn 2, but let me pull up turn 1 here. Turn 1. So this is our first time seeing the map. We didn't give the map out ahead of time, and I didn't make this map. Somebody else made it. So, if we look at our nations, there were a few nations that got coastal starts. There's only one nation that got a coastal start, and it's Joman, which probably is a pretty nice way to balance out Joman. Actually, is give them a coastal start so they can get Ryujin potentially. And the coastal start, we had it for the map setting tournament rules that nations with coastal starts would not be attached to a broader ocean because that's typically horrible for them. Though of course you can disagree, but most coastal nations are not going to be kicking underwater nations out of the water. Okay, so anyway, we also have a regular grid-like map nuke map. And what that means is that there's a start location here, so this is almost certainly Joman. We have a start location here, which I don't know who that is. And there's a start location here, which is almost certainly Gath, because Gath gets a Wasteland start. And yeah, the one over here we don't know. So I have two neighbors I don't really know. And I have two that I do know. Joman, honestly, is a pretty freaking good early game target for me. It would make a lot of sense to kill them before they get Ryujin, or before they get Foul Vapors. They can get Foul Vapors sort of early, but anyway, that's definitely an option for me. I like the Ryujin player a lot, so, if I did it, it would be, sorry. But, yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's basically the map. There's 9 players, so it's in like this grid. If you kind of look, you can see the thrones. Wherever there's thrones, there's a player right in between them all. This one here, this one here, this one here. And because it's also a 9-player map in a 3x3 grid, you're kind of a neighbor to everybody, except 4 of your neighbors are going to be at a long diagonal. So, it'll be an interesting map, I think, or an interesting game. And you only need 5 thrones to win. Fuck, there's an underwater throne here. That is shitty. Shitty. Because I am not going to be an underwater powerhouse, let me tell you what. I can, mono drop it, maybe. Because that's a thing. We'll have to see. In terms of recruitment, the recruitment that I normally do is I would normally get one of these, the Magister's Arcane, and a Judge. And then I'm going to tap out Wardens. If I had 3 hammers, I would be able to get 1 more Warden, which might make sense. But what I decided to do was kind of go a little all-in on the bid for the Mercs. Not all in, but pretty high. This is... these guys only cost 160. I put 220, and basically that's me not getting a Mage. And I figure I'm not really worried about being able to research well. And I don't have tons of stuff. I'm going to be able to fight my first war just on the strength of my troops. What I'm worried more about is failing an expansion. I'm not exactly failing, but I'm worried some of these other players are going to go gangbusters and it'll be like winter and I'm slow. And I really need to get my cap circle cleared. And those things Mercs are really good for. So anyway, we're going to put a bid on these guys, and if I have easy indies and I get the Mercs, it's going to give me a pretty good chance at getting my cap circle. And in all my test games, I never got the Mercs, so that's kind of a different thing. And then my current turn, oops, this is not my current turn. And then my current turn, we got an event in Man. The luck scale's coming in clutch, plus 200 gold. What that is going to mean, and I also got a double random on the Judge, which is insane luck. I mean, you have to roll usually a lot of times to get this. Hopefully he doesn't die. They're old age, so they usually don't last terribly long, but we'll see. He's going to You know, I probably should actually have him roll out with one of my groups. This one I'm not super confident. We've got crossbowmen, light infantry, and heavy infantry. I think these guys will win. They're supposed to have some morale stars, or some experience stars. I looked in the description, it said they had the experience stars. We've got heavy cav here. This at most, it says 9, so it's probably like a really small province. It could maybe be like 3 or 4 heavy cav. I'm pretty sure we can handle it. I think I'm actually going to put these guys on hold and attack cavalry. Anyway, these guys will shoot. These guys will shoot. That honestly, the archers probably aren't going to do much against either of them. I could put the archers of this army. Probably not. I'm going to put them here. The archers actually are pretty decent. They have swords too if they get in melee. So anyway, we'll chop these guys up. I'm trying to send them non-adjacent, so if I want to, like if they get beat up or something, I can potentially converge them here. I'm also going to have more dudes in my capital, and I'll almost certainly send some of them out. How much income is this? This is kind of shitty income. Maybe this is more. Anyway, I'll almost surely send them out next turn with one of probably my judge. I'm kind of inclined to go ahead and send this guy out and start site searching. In fact, I think I'm going to do that. He doesn't have any spells yet. But I think we're going to put him back here. Just have him do fireflies. It's probably not going to do jack shit, but maybe he'll get a hit. And then, well, we're going to put him actually in here. There's no archers, so... anyway, his job's going to be probably to patrol and then site search. Getting the unrest down, especially if this is a high-income province, is pretty good. That's why I'm not sending him up here, because this is kind of a shit-income province. So, but yeah, he's going to patrol and then site search. Get us the juicy money. And we're going to get a lot of mages, but researching itself is going to take a little bit of a back burner priority compared to site searching and patrolling. When I say patrolling, what I mean is these guys have patrol bonus 20, so they get the unrest in a province down really fast. I don't know why. Okay, yeah, we're going to go this way, and then... yeah, that's probably fine. We're going to go here, kind of see what's coming down the pipe. If we look at the things around us, we've got these vinemen and woodsmen. This is probably really easy unless there's some crazy druids or something in here. But it's actually probably an easy province. It's also a reasonably high income. You know, there's an argument I should take it. I think this is a little bit easier, but maybe not. This does have crossbowmen, so I'm definitely going to take some losses, but I should outnumber these guys, and I'm probably in a better formation. So hopefully I can hit this and then come and hit this. Though that might be a bit of a tall order. We'll have to see how much attrition we take. But yeah, anyway, we'll figure it out. I'll have a few options next turn. What would be the worst case is if next turn I can still only expand once. But even then, I'm going to get the double expand I'm going to get this turn if it works. Means I'm going to get way more wardens coming out per turn early, which is, it's almost going to be like I got the expander. Because the thing I didn't want about the expander getting a pig was I did not want the actual expander unit itself. I really don't care for them much. I think, like, versus good players, they can just kill expanders. And then they're just like an expensive high HP mage. So, yeah. I mean, getting these mercs, if I'm able to do 2 expansion parties a turn at the beginning instead of 1, which lets me get to that point where I clear my cap circle faster, it's going to be a major advantage. So anyway, I'm kind of stoked with the mercs, because I didn't do that in my testing. And that could potentially be a major advantage. So... I think... oh, I should probably talk a little bit about formation. We've got these guys here. Got these guys here. These guys are going to shoot. They're on hold and attack. Hold and attack, they're going to shoot their crossbow once, and then they're going to reload it, and then they're going to run into combat. These guys are just going to shoot. These guys are going to hold and attack. And these guys, he's going to blast the shit out of... I don't actually know if we want Sword of Courage. Maybe we do. Yeah, that'll probably be fine. And then here, yeah. Just got this guy positioned way at the back. Should be pretty solid. Yeah, I forgot to name my prophet, though. Cuthred. I got some grief about that in the game chat already. Oh, we need to do research. We're not researching, but we should probably queue it up. We're going to get construction first for Alquills. We're not going to go ham on Alquills. If we get rushed, I probably want to have enough for air elementals and stuff. But we're not going to get Conjuration 3 super soon either. We're going to get Construction probably 3 to get us Legions of Steel. And then we're probably going to go Enchantment 3 for Strength of Giants. Well, I think we're going to do this. I think we're going to do this. I might want Mindburn too, depending on what I get. Like, Gath is my southern neighbor, so if they rush me with Giants, having Mindburn could be quite nice. So we might go level... We'll at least get level 1. I might go level 2. Then I think I'll plan on finishing construction, and then like this, and then probably... I'm not sure. Maybe like a little alteration or something. The alteration will be nice for getting like stone skin on my communions and stuff like that. So if I'm fighting like an archer nation, I don't have to worry about them picking off a mage by accident. But yeah, that's basically it. We're gonna spend the rest of the episode. I'm gonna go through the nations. If you watch the drafting video, you will have seen what they are already. But here we'll be able to see their god and some other things. I'm really bad with like identifying god names, so. Here we go. So we have Arco, Messenger of Gods, one always... See, I don't know any of these. The Shadow of Death, the Self-Created Master, God of Order. I could probably look these up. I'm not going to. I might do them afterwards, but almost certainly it's going to be some kind of light bless for these guys in scales on an imprisoned chassis. Or you could go an expander, but I think with elephants, you definitely don't need an expander. Like with elephants, you can do 1 or 2 expansion parties a turn pretty trivially. Or maybe not per turn, but I mean, you can do at least an expansion party every turn. Maybe not at the beginning when these guys do take a lot of resources, but... Anyway, that's Arco, and then we've got me, I'm Pork Pie, and then we've got Ulm, who's patron of necromancers, harvester of enemy infants. So this is almost the typical blood death Ulm, which I think is super standard. Probably dormant. We've got Micklin, which is a super blood powerhouse. We've got Lord of Thunder Showers, so it's probably air. God of Wind, of West Wind, Lord of Every Flame. I wonder if it's like, it could be a, oh no, he's got water. That's what Thunder Showers is. So water, air, fire. And he's probably got some blood too. My guess is it's like an attack, swiftness, defense-oriented build for these guys with some strength of, like some blood strength or whatever it's called. Not blood surge, but strength of, I can't remember it. Anyway, I think this is going to be more like that. I've tested quite a few different Micklin builds. I find just relying on defense for your Jaguars doesn't often work very well for defense. Like, they get picked apart by archers and stuff. Expanding with Late Age Micklin is pretty tricky if you do it without an expander. It could be he picked an expander that would... I think that the nice thing about picking an expander for Micklin is it opens up your choice of blesses a lot. In the sense, like, your bless won't be as heavy, but you could kind of do more what you want to do. If you do, like an imprisoned or like an awake, but non-expander bless, you have to have a lot of defensive things on there to get Jaguars or something to survive. Or you have to have something where you kill things extraordinarily quickly, like with quickness and strength or weapon buffs. And then you can use like Eagle Warriors. But a lot of times you want something like luck or like Blood Bond or, some protection buff on it just to be able to expand with these guys. And you don't really have any other unit to fall back on to expand with, so... Next up we have Joman, which is pretty solid, lacking a little bit in the archer department. They have longbows, which are kind of nice. They also are notably lacking in shields, which you can see is beneath them. But they get the Ryujin, they have really good path diversity. And God help me, I hope they didn't take an Earth Snake. We have Midgard, Age of Man. And this being played by Nick Knight, who I'm, if I'm honest, a bit scared of. The other players are good too, but Nick Knight I've played with before, and I know he's really good. Other players only by reputation. But yeah, they've got a ton of cool stuff. They have Einhairs, which are basically Vanhairs without the sacredness, but they're like Berserker 5 still, so they hit really freaking hard. And they've got Skin Shifters, who have great swords and are also pretty cool. And they turn into werewolves. And then they've got these guys, the sacred little horsies. So the good news for me is that almost their entire lineup is vulnerable to archer fire, right? No shield, no shield. These guys have a shield, but they're really expensive and they have glamour, which will pop with archer fire. And these guys get wrecked, because I was thinking about picking Midgard. I tested them a good bit. Otherwise, I haven't really played or messed around with Midgard much in late age. But yeah, they get shredded by crossbows. It's like a major challenge of how do you expand with these guys into crossbow provinces, because there's crossbow provinces everywhere. So I'm feeling really strong about this matchup early. Once they get Arrowfend and Storm and stuff, it's going to be a bit more tricky. But I think it's something we can still manage. If I let him get Storm and Arrowfend up, especially if he also has 15 shock resistance on his Bless, we could be in a bit of trouble. That said, Thunder Strike will still one-hit kill him, but it won't do any of the AoE damage. Anyway, that's Midgard. We've got Utgard. I think Midgard and Utgard were picked in every single one of the late age games for for the tournament. Utgard for very good reason. They have Seth Kona, which I think is probably the best mage in the game. If I only got to pick one, I'd probably say the Seth Kona. They're just so good. They also have Scrotty, so they've got thuggy kind of super combatants. Scrotty toe the line right there between high-end thug, low-end super combatant. They've got Gamherdings, which are big, nasty beasts. They hit so freaking hard. They have Berserk. Once these guys go Berserk, they're basically going to be killing one thing a turn. And then they have a bunch of other just decent kind of Utgardian troop, including the Hurler, who's really good at sieging. So yeah, these guys super good mages, really good cap-only units, decent other units. Pretty good. And we have Gath. Gath, probably one of the better nations in the late age. They don't seem immediate, like they're not obviously overpowered, but they have a cap-only Sacred who hits pretty hard, has pretty good defense, has pretty good protection, has a shield. It's generally pretty robust, right? Just an all-around solid unit. The only thing bad is he's size 4. Size 4 kind of sucks, but fortunately you have size 2 Sacreds who can intermix with them. And these guys are super cheap. So you're a nation with really good cap-only Sacreds, with different but pretty okay Recruit Anywhere Sacreds, and then you can get Blood Summon Sacreds. So this is a nation that, as much as any nation, wants to go all in, or at least largely in, on a big, strong Bless. They have some downsides like high temple costs, but they have good mages. Like, these guys are super solid. You know, these guys are amazing. Like 65 gold for an Astral Nature Mage, like phenomenal. And then they've got a reasonably cheap Blood Hunter. And then this guy who's pretty solid. You get a bunch of different varieties, a lot of which are useful. The fire varieties, kind of less useful, but the earth one you get earth 2, the death one you get death 2, the astral one can jump in communions, which of course you're going to have really strong communions because you have the Sybil. You get a healer, which is this dude, which is pretty nice when you have really high quality Sacreds. You get this guy, the Serene. I'm not super sold on him. He has really good leadership. And then you have this guy, the Cohen Gadol, who can super combatant. So it's not like a Melkort, but it's pretty good. So yeah, Gath is a really good nation. They are almost certainly my neighbor to the south. And then we have Vedheim, which I think this tournament will show based on who wins round 1, and then potentially if we have a late age game. I'm pretty sure these guys will get picked or banned. I think this is probably one of the best nations in late age, but not for new players. For experienced players, I think this is probably one of the best nations. They just have so much they can do. And a lot of it has to do with point buffing. But I think that's it, guys. I hope you were stoked about the game. I am stoked that I got the mercs and that I might have a somewhat rapid expansion. Getting my first cat, like getting double expanding this turn would be huge if it works. And it should work. There's no reason it shouldn't, but things can always go sideways. So thank you guys. I'll see you next time.